Winter has spanned the gap between last year's great harvest and now our coming great planting. Our animals have stood the test of time but haven't fully gone unscathed. As you can see, Opal has ringworm, and I can see signs of it in the other cows as well. So we're going to be treating. The goats' bellies are rounding. We are expecting babies in about 30 days, and we're busy making preparations for spring. Late winter on the homestead is a time of planning and dreaming as we envision the bountiful harvest and the new projects ahead. Thanks, Opal. So as temperatures are gradually rising and the days are lengthening, we're going to let the cows sun themselves, but we're going to head into the greenhouse. We anticipate that maple syrup season is just around the corner, so we want to finish out the interior of the greenhouse. Just like winter, we are on the home stretch. We only have the shiplap left to apply and a whole lot of cleanup before we can move into that building and be prepared for maple syrup season. Hello and welcome back to Scatter's Homestead. Candy and Sheldon over there. We are in the greenhouse. We are working on the shiplap. So we have had this lumber sitting in the greenhouse for the entire winter. We are now in the middle of February. Our plan was to get on this in fall because we already had the lumber, but plans changed. We got tired and we needed a break. So we took a nice long break. And now we're going to get working. So you're going to come along with us. Okay, so let's be real. What kind of experience do we have with construction? We are not experts. We are not here to teach you anything. We are here just doing the work ourselves because that is what we've done for the last 20 years. With finish work, don't kick too hard. How about that? Finish carpentry is our nemesis. We can easily frame up a building, we can easily tack things together, but actually having the precision and the patience to do this type of work is very difficult. And we usually ask Sheldon's dad to come and do this type of work for us. But this project was one that we wanted to tackle ourselves. So here we are, doing our best, and I don't think it's too bad. We're doing a pretty good job. So after, I have no clue what time it is. It's got to be almost 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
So we've been out here for 4 hours.
Yep.
So we have, you can see we're done up until there. I'm estimating that's about 7 feet up. We've got all that done, and then we have it done over there as well. That gives you a good idea of what it looks like. It's pretty good. We are on our second winter of working on this greenhouse. Last year, Sheldon and I spent the entire winter working on the framing of this building. This building had sat in its former position for over a decade, just wasting away in the back 40. But Sheldon and I were now on a roll. We had taken all of the other buildings on our property and we had made them into something useful that we could use on the homestead. And so it was only appropriate for us to take this building, move it to a new location, and make something great out of it. And so that's what we have been doing now for over a year. So Sheldon just nailed the last piece onto that wall. That was the dreaded wall. There were so many cuts.
So many windows. Probably the hardest wall.
Probably, it was. There's a lot of cuts, but it looks great. So these 2 walls that we're looking at right now, they are done. Good job, babe.
Thank you.
Looks pretty cool. That wraps up the day for us. I am cold and I am tired. Sheldon and I love to spend our Saturday afternoons working together on some kind of a building project. Our reward is a nice cozy snuggle by the fire in the evening. Today we are going to be incubating eggs. We are going to be trying some of our own eggs, and we also purchased some barnyard eggs that we want to hatch. So this is what I have here. I'm just starting to get it ready. I'm going to preheat the incubator that we can get the eggs in there. But right now what we're going to do is we're just going to test everything out and make sure that it works. And we're going to be marking the eggs that we have, just so that I can keep an eye on which ones were the chickens that we hatched and the chickens that we purchased. I marked every single one of those. I just put a little black dot on the top of them. You can see there's just a tiny little black dot. Ones that we purchased, we have some great olive eggers. That's exciting. I want to get a more colorful basket of eggs. There's a lot of people that actually quite enjoy it. Little children love it. We end up selling eggs to a lot of people. Look at this one. This is a copper Moran, nice and dark. But we have a lot of people that are buying these eggs, and they have little children, and so it's it's extra special to them when their children get little green eggs. All the boys want the green eggs. I don't think girls do, but the boys sure do. And I had a funny situation. I had a customer actually ask me just last weekend. They were new customers, and they got eggs, and there was brown ones, there was white ones, and they had never seen green ones in their entire life before. And so they asked me if that was normal. And of course, yes, it is normal. Okay. So there we have it. We have them almost filled up. So these right here, these are the ones that came from our place. And then these over here, they are the ones that came, we purchased. So now we're just gonna put the lid on it. This is the first time that we have ever incubated eggs. You might have remembered probably about 6 months ago, we actually purchased a rooster, and we did it exactly for this very purpose. We wanted to make sure that we could become a little more sustainable in growing our own flock as well. And so back then I had shared that we wanted to grow our own flock. And of course we didn't want all those roosters. The roosters that would be born out of all of these, they would end up being some meat birds for us. And the hens are going to be our layers for this next winter. So we are now just crossing our fingers and hoping that we're going to have a lot of hens and not a lot of roosters, because we always raise meat birds for customers, and of course that comes with meat birds for us as well. So we don't technically need meat birds, but we're just looking at sourcing a new opportunity for us to just be able to raise all of the birds that we need here on our property for us personally, and then we wouldn't need to purchase chicks anymore if we didn't want to. We could just constantly have birds from our flock for both meat and for eggs. So this is a test for us. We're gonna see how this goes. So if you've never seen an incubator work before, I've been doing some research on it. Now I'm going to let this thing sit here. I'm going to have to constantly add some water to this incubator so that the humidity stays at a certain place. All I need to do is I just need to push this in there and I can just squeeze the water right in there. I don't need to disturb the incubation process at all. But at around 7 to 10 days, I will open up the lid and we're going to handle these eggs and we're going to see where we're at, see if we have fertile eggs, and we're going to remove the ones that are showing that they're not fertile, because they're actually there is a possibility that they will contaminate the other eggs. So you want to remove those if they are not fertile. So now we're just going to let this thing go. Let it rest. It has its own turning tray, so every 2 hours it's going to turn, and we don't need to come in here. Otherwise we would be coming in here every probably about 5 or 6 times a day, and we'd have to turn the eggs ourselves. So we don't need to do that. We can just let this thing do its job. It's going to keep its temperature, it's going to keep its humidity. And you heard that beeping before, that was the humidity alarm. When that alarm goes off, that means we need to come and we need to add some water to the machine so that the humidity can stay where it needs to be. Okay, there we go.
I'm going out to do chores with my animals, and I'm going to give a parasite treatment to my cows. They are noticed that they have some spots on them. We think that it's a ringworm. What I'm going to do is I'm going to feed them, and while they're at the feeder, I'm going to pour over this solvent that's going to be to help kill the worms, the parasites that are in them. Really hard time getting them. I've given a small dosage to the cows or to the goats. I gave them a very small amount, and then to the cows, I've got a little bit on Alfie's back. But I want to get on his shoulders, and I am having a hard time. And Birdie's not having any of it. I haven't been able to get her any yet. And Opal knows no problem. She's just such a tame cow. So
One last attempt, and Sheldon did end up catching Farron. Got a little on her, but Birdie still was impossible to medicate. So that's it. That's all we have for you today. I thank you so much for joining us. And before we let you go, remember, you might have some limitations, but that does not mean you're limited. We'll see you next time.